Okay. Stay up there, dumb thing. Stay. Okay. Now we will do this one. 5742. Take it out sleeve. Box. Lots of this stuff, which over time crumbles. Instruction manual for the Locksound 5 DCC. Well, this can be done with Smart Start. That would be something you would only do if you have if you're running winter operations in a northern part, because that's the only time the Smart Start's really needed, which of course is a Canadian locomotive. So. Lubrication instructions. To get the box out of the way. Pull it out of the sleeve. Those are really packs their stuff, don't they? And then we have this, which is basically a sleeve. What's this? We got some extra parts up here. That looks like a shovel, a couple shovels. Something. I don't know what that is. Take it out of here. Okay, and we have a plastic thing, and this plastic thing, they use the same one for the SD40-2, the SD40-2F, the U25B, and the C430, apparently. And they really tighten that down. There's the screws going in, a little different from the first I thought that brake wheel was molded in, but I don't think so. I think it is separately applied. You can see the control stand through there. The conductor's seat is way too far forward. Oh, they got two seats there, but still, that's a little too far. That front seat's a little too far forward. It's been a long time since I've been in an SD40-2, but I remember that if they had two seats on this side, the second one was just a fold down jump seat back here, and then the regular seat was here, or the fold down jump seat was in the middle. The control stand is a little too far over. That's something I'm noticing. It should be over this far, over to the window more. Winterization hatch. That's, I believe that's what that is. Let's take a look at the prototype. The paint doesn't look quite right. It doesn't look as bright as it should. And that's a very vibrant red, and this is kind of a muted. It's kind of weird. But they got the Expressway lettering looks good. Expressway lettering looks good. Very good. Very good. They even have the blocked out class lights, and of course the single rear headlight, which that's Canadian Pacific. I mean, it was always odd seeing a Canadian Pacific unit go long and forward, and I saw several of them because of SK1 coming down. Was that single headlight in reverse, and they didn't have ditch lights in the rear. Another view of the real one. Take a look here. You can see the ditch light is right here, below the deck, and there it is below the deck. The lift rings here. Bell proper position from the top. Headlight looks good. Brake chain detail's a little weird, but you can't really do much with that. Overall, I would say a great locomotive. Now, why did I get this one? Because of these pictures right here. The one that I showed you was taken in June 14th, 2001 in Binghamton, New York, which is the eastern end of the Norfolk Southern Tier line on the big layout. And this one is March 10th, 2002. So, yeah, this locomotive is going to be seen a lot. I mean, it's my only Canadian Pacific locomotive. This locomotive you'll see a lot running in the big layout if people like the videos. You have it in Vancouver. There's in Delta. There's another in Delta. So usually you wouldn't see these outside of between Windsor and Toronto, but they did go elsewhere. I mean, I think SK1 had one at one point. I'm not sure. I would have to check my notes that I wrote down every single train that I saw when we lived here before, but I can't find those papers. They're somewhere in a box somewhere. I didn't throw them out. I know my mom didn't throw them out. So they're here somewhere. They're somewhere. I just don't know where, unless they get lost in a storage unit. But let's go over here. Canadian Pacific 5742 is an SD40-2 built by the GMD shop, London, Ontario, in 1975. Serial number A3338. It's Canadian Pacific class is DRF-30N. Its first paint scheme was a CP rail large multi-mark with 8-inch stripes and a white frame stripe. They then removed the white frame stripe at some point. In the 1999, they painted it into the Expressway scheme, and it was declared surplus on December 3rd, 2014. So when I went through when CPRR diesel roster, which is where I got this information, shut down, they still owned it. Canadian Pacific still owned it. Now, whether they still do, I don't know. But let's look at this picture. Here you can see the hatch, the covering for the front fan right here. Horn placement is spot on, right there, right next to the forward dynamic brake fan. And that's in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. You can see some Canadian National Power in the background. There's another Canadian Pacific SD40, probably an SD40-2. Because in this 2011, definitely is an SD40-2, because even their SD40s that they had gotten, they had rebuilt to either SD40-2 or SD40-3s at this point. So that's another locomotive. You'll have to wait for another operations video to see it running, because I'm not going to put that on this video. The same with the Conrail one that I did, the last video that I did was the Conrail locomotive. So these are great additions to the roster, and I look forward to running them on the big layout. They will be, and everything I have will be running on the big layout at some point, until I get enough motive power that I can since these both have Lock Sound 5 decoders, I'll have to check how they run with my other Lock Sound 5. I know the Canadian National is not speed matched with the Dash 8. So I'll have to see if either one of these is speed matched with one of the others, and then we can maybe run a 2-unit consist. I mean, the modular layout isn't really big enough for that, but just to do it. So, from CP Silver Springs, milepost 368, the Norfolk Southern Tier Line, keep on loving trains. Tim and the Canadian Pacific Expressway locomotive out.